Sportsnet. Lakers driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Chris McGee. Big game, James Worthy. Big shot, Robert Horry. We got Allie Clifton here. We got Brez and Trudell working the post-game locker room. We'll be hearing from everyone shortly. Guys, the Lakers kind of similar to game one against Memphis. Messed around a little bit. They only scored 94 points. By the way, that's the lowest they've scored this season. The low coming into this game was the Portland loss at 107. But just like they have in the past, they found a way to get it done. When you have the two best players on the court, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, that's going to happen on most nights. They sweep the road trip. They go to 4-0 on the road and 6-2 overall, James.
Yeah, and, you know, throughout 72 games this year, you're probably going to have a few games like that. You know, spend a little time in San Antonio, then you go into Memphis where you got to stay, you know, longer than you've ever stayed, back-to-back games. I know they got some good barbecue in Memphis, too. I probably would have had me a couple slabs of ribs, kind of slow me down. But
how much for just one rib?
You're going to have those type of games. I mean, Memphis is a team without their star player. That automatically makes everybody else energy, you know, play better, and they're up. And, you know, it was a sloppy first half. Lakers turned the ball over too much. Didn't get to the free throw line like they usually do. Only 11 attempts at the free throw line. The bench production has been lacking a little bit because of players, you know, not being available. So it's just one of those games, but it just goes to show you, like you said, the superiority that they have, that they can put their two big guns and close the game out.
Rob, I know I've had you talk about this before. Fish talked about it the other night as well. You guys have been on great teams that have repeated and won championships. Sometimes there are nights where, you got to admit it, it's hard to motivate, but you just know you're better than that team. And sometimes you flip that switch at the end. We kind of saw that tonight. It's dangerous. I know the fans don't love it, but tonight we saw it.
It's very dangerous because a turnover, as you see at the end of the game, two crucial turnovers right there, a three-point there. And you don't want to play with teams like this because anytime you get a team like this, it gives them so much confidence that first quarter, second quarter, next thing you know, in your fourth quarter, and you're in a position that you don't want to be in. But the Lakers was grinding it out. They did what they needed to do, and they locked guys down the stretch. And that's the true sign of a championship team, to be able to lock in when need be.
Took the words out of my mouth. Sunday, they held Memphis to just 40 points in the second half. Tonight, 43 points. So they did it with defense and then turned it on at the end. Another big night from AD, 26 and 10, par for the course. He's with Mike Trudell.
All right, Anthony Davis, things got a little interesting. Final seconds there. What were you guys seeing as you held on to get this win?
We had to get back and play some defense. You know, they're a team who's looking for their first home victory. You know, we're a team who like to win on the road and establish a road-winning culture. This team is young, even though they're missing, you know, their two best players, and Ja and JJ. They're going to continue to fight. Yeah, that's what they did all the way to the buzzer sound. Me and Bron had two turnovers where they, you know, got fouled in on both plays. So, and then we had a miscommunication call on the three with Dylan Brooks. So we got to get better late game, but, you know, this team is scrappy. They're a young team who's hungry. Like I said, looking for their first home victory, and we was able to pull it off.
You know, one thing that you guys seem to take pride in, you and LeBron, is making plays on both ends in crunch time, which separates you perhaps even from several other stars. We saw that again in the fourth tonight. AD, what is that mindset like where you both have to make sure you're getting the buckets on offense, but then be the guys that can make the plays on the other end?
Yeah, that's what your stars have to do on your team. Buckle down both ends of the floor. You know, Bron with that big-time block. You know, I had a block as well. You know, going to the line, making free throws on the other end, making plays for ourselves, for others. That's what it's about. You know, we want to be a good team. Obviously, the team is going to lean on both of us, on both ends of the floor, and we're able to do it both ends, especially late game.
AD, last thing for you. Now, I'm sure you're not familiar with this stat, but you rank 9th all-time in games with at least 3 blocks and 3 steals. It's some pretty good company. Guys like Hakeem and Robinson up there on that list. What do you see there in tonight? Again, you're able to get so many deflections and be able to protect the rim like that.
It's activity. Getting my activity back high. You know, our team leads and goes defensively as far as I go, and I got to be the one to bring that activity each and every night, and was able to do that tonight. Able to do that tonight with my activity, getting deflections and protecting the rim. And, it carries on and trickles down to our other guys. Brian doing it, Trez doing it, Mark, Dennis is getting steals, and Kuz and West. So, all our guys, Markeith, protecting the rim. So we all, playing our part, but I take pride in making sure that from the opening tip, I try to make sure that I go out there and bring that energy on the defensive end with deflections and blocks.
All right, Anthony, 4-0 road trip. Time to get on that plane back to L.A., man.
Oh, man, yes, please.
All right, appreciate it.
I think they were trying to go at halftime, but they had to kind of finish this game. Most games with 3 blocks and 3 steals. Rob, we wanted to show you this because your former teammate, one of your favorite guys in the world, Hakeem Olajuwon, the Dream, he's done this 204 times.
Wow.
Put that into perspective. Anthony Davis is 9th on the all-time list. He's done it 43 times. So AD came to play. He was big in crunch time. 10 3-point attempts, by the way, for AD. That's a career high. He hit 40% of them. He's 4 for 10. Hit 26-10, 4 assists as well. So AD doing it all tonight, Rob.
Yeah, he had a plus 12, and that's what you want to see out of your guy. Even though if you really think about this, like, he had no offensive rebounds. That's the only thing you can really say bad about his game. Shot a lot of threes. He was on the perimeter now because he had a taller guy that he can go around, use his guard skills, and use those against him. But tonight, to me, he should have been more aggressive. He only shot, 3 free throws in the whole game, and one of those was a tech. And you in a game like this, in the grind-out game, you got to attack the basket, get to the rack, and try to go to the free throw line. He's too talented to waste all his talents just sitting outside the 3-point line.
James, you said it before the game ended. Lakers were in cruise mode. You just have to look at the free throw attempts to kind of know, especially when you see your star players only getting 2, 3 attempts. But in the end, you saw AD turn it to another level.
Yeah, and, it's dangerous to flip that switch, but they know they can do it. And the thing about AD is he's not going to give you the same stats every night. Sometimes he'll give you big rebounds, but he's always going to give you something that is going to be impactful for the game and help the game to win. Obviously, he didn't get to the free throw line tonight, shot threes well, hit some buckets down the stretch. But in the long run, he's one of the best free throw shooters in the league, so I think that's a good start for him to get to the line, get other people involved. But I think tonight was one of those nights where he used his talent. He had LeBron to win a game. He's going to have those.
And Allie, you are going to have nights like this, and it's your defense that has to carry you, and that's where AD has kind of put his stamp on this team. We saw it when he came in day one, media day, said, I want to win Defensive Player of the Year. 3 blocks, 3 steals. Impressive company right there.
This is why we all love to hear when he sat at his first press conference and was introduced to LA, and they asked if he would play the center position, how he felt about it. And he said, I will when you need me to. Because when you get rid of guys like Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, and you don't have that rim protection, but you can turn to a guy like Anthony Davis who can defend from the perimeter all the way back to the back of the rim. And then you pair that, because I loved how Mike Trudell pointed this out, you pair that within LeBron James barking out coverages, you become tough to beat because you know what they're going to do on the offensive end of the floor, but it's a total package with the two of them and in closing situations.
It was exciting. I remember when the Lakers traded for AD, we talked that entire offseason leading up to the season and then obviously the bubble. When the Lakers take the floor, they're always going to have 2 of the 3 best players. AD and LeBron are always going to be there. And that's something the Lakers just didn't have during that tough stretch of years. They'd come close, just like Memphis tonight, but they don't have the closers. I feel like I've done that Memphis show 6, 7 years strong with all you guys right there with me. But now you're on the other side of it, and you have LeBron and AD. They score 15 points in a row in the last 3 minutes down the stretch to just separate that game, James. That's the ability they have.
It makes a big difference when you have those type of players every night. And if you don't have one, you can rely on the other. And most of the time, you have both of them together, which makes it almost impossible to stop them when they have complete role players around them. That's another thing that makes closers that more special, when they are capable of enhancing everybody else around them. So, but you're right. When you need we had Kareem. We know we had that sky hook. We had Magic. Rob had Hakeem Olajuwon. Shaq and Kobe. You always feel better when you have a closer that can win games for you.
It's always key when you got someone you know you can go to down the stretch and get a bucket or create a bucket for someone else, because that's what it's all about, because guys like that are going to demand a double team. And it's up to those guys to find those guys that are open so they can either knock down a shot or make a pass to another guy to knock down a shot. Key shots.
Yeah, and you look at both their numbers, Ali, LeBron James with 26 points as well, 11 rebounds. The combo there, when they reach those kind of numbers, Lakers rarely lose.
Can we talk about how LeBron himself was 5 points, 2 of 8 at the half? And he finishes with that line right there. You know, we just heard AD be a bit animated in regards to getting back to LA. You said I think the team probably wanted to come back at halftime.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to bet that LeBron James at halftime knew that what he gave in the first half, if they wanted to come away with the win, needed to be that much better in the second half. And obviously we saw that.
Obviously, though, I was talking about something earlier. You know, when you came here, we started winning. So you don't know that we could actually, the three of us could fly to Memphis right now and do their show and know exactly what to say.
I'm just surprised again.
Good young core, giving everything we had. Bench was great tonight.
Yeah.
Came up short.
Gave a lot of effort.
Gave a lot of effort.
Gave a lot of effort. Get him next time.
Yeah, fans screaming at you on Twitter. We could do that show in our sleep. Right, Big Game?
Absolutely.